The world machine is a system of interlocking gears, much like a giant clockwork mechanism. It's powered by a device that sits between the major and the minor side of the huge mechanism. Each piece of the large world machine has its own name, a special scientific term, and also a common everyday usage kind of term. And we're going to go through these and list them and make sure that everyone knows what we're talking about when we refer to one part of it or another. So, first of all, we'll start with the basic structure of the world machine. In the very center of both the top and the bottom, there is a large plate which is either called the major plate on the top or the minor plate on the bottom. They have scientific names. There is annulus terrarum on the top and subannulus terrarum on the bottom. Outside those major plates are other circling, like sort of planets, if you will, and these represent seasons or sort of changes of the energy that is in the world machine. Right on the outside, the band which sort of binds all of the pieces of the mechanism together is called the externum, also known as the periphery. And this is actually what is called in engineering an annular gear. So it's it represents like the entire and the entirety of the mechanism's boundings, if you will. Okay, so now I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about the major side. The major plate is right at the center. It's just called the major plate in everyday usage, and it's a large plate that is touched by 4 elemental spokes. The elemental spokes of the world machine are, of course, resource-rich, containing the most valuable kind of elements that exist in the world machine, and they are coal, rust, steam, and oil. So these are the 4 most valuable kind of commodities or resources that exist in the world. Now, on the other side, the minor plate, rather than being sort of matter-dominated, these are more, it's more of an energy-dominated kind of world down there. We have the etheric spokes, so these are ethers, and in the world machine there are 3 types of ether. There is a divine ether, an occult ether, and an arcane ether. So divine, occult, and arcane. Now I'm going to talk about the periphery. The periphery is a large binding device which has inward-facing teeth, within which the interconnected gears inside can sort of be held in place quite strongly. The periphery and all of the other plates on the world machine have what we call spires. The spire is basically the axis upon which the plate revolves, and it's always the center point of that plate. So the largest and most well-known spire is just what people refer to as the spire, which is in the major plate. There are 2 other things that I would like to talk about in the world machine before we wrap up, and they are the ribbon and the stars of the machine. So the ribbon is a large and flexible kind of energy band that goes right around the entire mechanism, bringing with it the 2 stars, the morning star and the evening star, which can bring daylight and evening to the mechanism and its residents. So the morning star, of course, brings day, evening star brings night, and this continues to go over and over, basically turning night into day. They revolve around the axis at the end of the periphery. So this is the periphery spires would probably tether to this device at some point at their extremity. Lastly, just to talk about gravity, gravity pulls perpendicular to the face of whichever plate you happen to be on. So if you're on the major plate on the top, it's going to pull down. If you were on the major plate on the opposite side, it would pull, well, up. But of course that would be down to you. So gravity basically just pulls towards whichever direction is the terrain. So as you travel around the periphery, if you were to walk around the periphery, you would not fall off the edge. You would continue to be pressed against the terrain surface of that. And that's basically the world machine structure in a nutshell. The obverse is on the top, and the inverse is on the bottom. But today